Assess the extent to which the corporate state achieved its aims. The corporate state represented one of Mussolini's most ambitious ideological projects, intended as the economic embodiment of fascist doctrine and a third way between liberal capitalism and socialism. Introduced progressively from the mid-1920s and formalized through the 1927 Charter of Labor and the 1934 creation of 22 corporations, it aimed to organize the economy into state-supervised syndicates, uniting employers and workers by sector. Its principal aims were to eliminate class conflict, subordinate class interests to the national interest, increase productivity and industrial harmony, achieve greater state direction of the economy, ultimately supporting autarky, and enhance regime legitimacy by presenting fascism as a modern, revolutionary force capable of resolving Italy's deep social and economic divisions. To a limited extent, the corporate state achieved some of its stated aims, particularly in extending state authority and providing propaganda value, but it largely failed in its core transformative objectives. One partial success lay in the regime's consolidation of control over industrial relations. The 1926 syndical laws banned independent trade unions and strikes, replacing them with fascist syndicates whose leaders were regime appointees. By outlawing free collective bargaining and independent worker organization, the system effectively neutralized organized labor as a threat. This aligned with the aim of ending class conflict, not through genuine reconciliation, but through suppression of one side. Employers retained substantial autonomy in managing production and profits, while workers lost the right to strike or negotiate freely. Historians such as those analyzing the Charter of Labor note that it promised improved conditions, e.g. welfare, holidays, but these remained largely unenforced suggestions rather than obligations. Thus, the corporate state succeeded in subordinating labor to the state and preserving capitalist structures under fascist oversight, which helped maintain elite support for the regime throughout the 1930s. The corporations also contributed modestly to economic coordination during the Great Depression. Established fully by 1934-39, the 22 corporations, covering sectors from agriculture to heavy industry, were intended to regulate production, set prices, and allocate resources. In practice, major economic decisions, especially responses to the Depression via the Istituto per la Ricostruzione Industriale, II, 1933, occurred outside the corporate framework through direct state intervention and bailouts of large firms. Nevertheless, the existence of the corporations provided a facade of organized, fascist, economic planning that bolstered propaganda claims of modernization and national direction. This helped sustain the myth of a dynamic regime during autarky and the push towards war production after 1935. However, the corporate state failed fundamentally in its most ambitious goals. It did not eliminate class conflict or create genuine class collaboration. Instead, it institutionalized employer dominance. Wages fell sharply in real terms, by up to 40% in some sectors between the late 1920s and mid-1930s. Living standards for industrial workers declined, and productivity growth remained modest. The corporations were bureaucratic and top-heavy, creating jobs mainly for fascist officials rather than driving efficiency. Mussolini himself admitted in private that the system was more rhetorical than operational, and radical fascists, e.g. early syndicalists like Edmondo Rossoni, were sidelined as the regime prioritized stability over revolutionary change. Moreover, the corporate state did little to advance autarky or prepare Italy for major war. While linked rhetorically to self-sufficiency, key battles, grain, lira operated separately, and industrial policy favored large northern firms, e.g. Fiat, and Saldo without genuine structural modernization. Italy remained heavily import-dependent for coal, oil, and raw materials, undermining claims of economic transformation. Ultimately, the corporate state's greatest achievement was propagandistic and political rather than economic or social. It allowed Mussolini to claim fascism had created a uniquely Italian solution to modernity's conflicts, helping legitimize the dictatorship domestically and attract foreign admirers, e.g. early interest from figures in Britain and elsewhere. In reality, as revisionist and traditional historians concur, it represented a superficial layer over a conservative, pro-business authoritarianism that preserved, rather than revolutionized, Italy's class structure. In conclusion, the corporate state achieved its aims only to a limited extent. It succeeded in crushing independent labor, extending state supervision, and providing ideological window dressing for the regime, but it failed decisively to eradicate class antagonism, harmonize interests, modernize the economy, or deliver meaningful improvements for most Italians. its legacy was more one of control and propaganda than genuine corporatist transformation.